All right. Hello, everyone. It's been a minute since I've done these live stream videos. Hopefully, um, this will be streaming just fine. I can see already that I've gotten frozen here on the screen. All right. Hopefully, it'll catch up at some point. I am going to be sharing the screen with the debate. So hopefully that doesn't slow down my streaming broadcast even more. But pretty soon here, we're going to be watching the District 5 City Council election together. All right. So thank you for everyone for tuning in. This is the Watch Party with Nickolas Wildstar. Me, yay! And I'm a candidate running for District 5 City Council. So, as you all may know me as a previous candidate for governor of California, I ran as a recall candidate in 2022 against Gavin Newsom. I also was the 2018 Libertarian candidate for California governor in 2018, excuse me, against Gavin Newsom again. So the people of California had two opportunities, three actually. My third term office, or third time running for office, was in 2014 for governor of California. But I also ran for Fullerton City Council, Fresno Mayor, and Fresno City Council District 3 as well. So I've done my best to serve for we the people as a representative, as a community leader. I've been involved in tons of events, feeding the homeless, and community cleanups, and pretty much everything, you name it. Protests from gun rights to human rights to civil rights to women's rights, you name it. I've been out there fighting for we the people. So I've done my best to get myself known as someone who is very involved in the community and would like to see us in betterment in every single way possible. I definitely think our parks could be better, not only better maintenance, but better well funded as well. I also think the same thing about our infrastructure. As much as people say they can't stand the conditions of the roads, and we pay millions of taxes into that effort each year, we don't see the roads getting any better. So my proposals are to have our roads be paved without taxpayers' expense, without us having to pay a dime towards that process at all. I see I got a comment. Oh, yeah, I meant to tell you all. Hey, hello, Karen. Thank you for tuning in. Karen says, best of luck to you on the debate or in the campaign. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But yeah, the reason why we're here is so we can watch the debate together, which has already started. I'm going to do my best to answer the questions that the moderator is going to be asking, as well as any questions that you guys may have as well. You're welcome to just type that in, and I'll show it here on the screen, and I'll answer that for you also. So let's see if I can get that broadcast stream up and running. Hold on 1 second. All right, so I found a video. Let's see if we can get it a little bit larger. Hang in there with me, guys. All right, so I'm going to share the screen. Like I said, you guys, I'm working off of my laptop, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the best of the live streaming feed. As I can see myself already freezing up. But Anyways, let's get this show on the road and watch the debate together. See what they're talking about. All right. Okay. Can you guys see that? Great. Okay. So let's see if we can get that a little bit larger, though. Does it go back and forth? If you guys can just give me a thumbs up that you're able to see the debate and me at the same time. It looks good on my end. That's all I can say. All right, so it looks like one of the candidates is speaking. Let's see what they got to say. Let's see if we can enlarge the screen first without it taking over the entire screen. There we go. All right, so it's larger. But they still got this here. Facebook needs to do something to where that can be reduced or something, because it's just taking up too much of the portion of the screen. All right, there we go. I reduced the screen size so we can at least fit it all in there. And now let's see if we can get some sound.
We have to address growth within this coming, and it has surpassed the city's plan. Now, CETA, Southeast Fresno area, is a projection of 10, 20, 30 years growth for Southeast Fresno. For the last 25 years,
we're all set now.
The growth, we need to go back and be transparent and talk to the constituents in that particular area or in the inside or the western part of District 5 to see what kind of growth they want.
So
and yes,
are you saying that you're against CETA?
I am pro-growth, okay? I'm for growth, but at the same time, we need to grow smart and not grow in the dark, meaning go to the area and go to the constituents and ask them how do they, it should be within the vicinity.
It's all aspirational, but how do you actually get them there? You know, what do you have specifics? You know, so they're building in Southeast Fresno as opposed to Southeast Visalia?
Well, I mean, the developers come in, there's developer fees. Yes, you know, charge them appropriately. And at the same time, as a city council member, you are not, in a sense, you know, beholden to anybody, but you should represent your constituents first and foremost, not only in terms of the interest, but in terms of the ideas of how growth is going to come about. And so at the same time, you are going to find how infrastructures, how sewage, how streets, not only in terms of repair, but expansion of that. And it has to be collaboration of the city government and the private business sector, in this case, the developers and others. It's a partnership between private and public, and at the same time, at the center are the citizens, are the people, the constituents, the voters in District 5.
All right, Elizabeth.
I agree with them. There definitely should be a partnership between
have them build in Southeast Fresno.
Yeah, absolutely. So development is really important to the district.
Doing what they can to help build more affordable housing.
There's a lot of needs. If you look at the eastern portion of the district, a lot of members of that community want to see restaurants, they want to see shopping, they want to see services, they want to see medical facilities. If you look at more of the western part of the district, they want to see investment in infrastructure, they want to see different types of services. And so there's a lot of development needs, investment in the corridor, Cesar Chavez Kings Canyon corridor. So there are a lot of development needs. And I do see it as my job of being a champion for Southeast Fresno. And so I see it as twofold. One, it's not just about incentives, as you mentioned. It's really about clarity in the process. What businesses want and need is an ally at City Hall that understands that their needs are not just in terms of making things pencil out financially, but they also have a tight schedule. They need to have clarity in the process. And I know our planning and development staff are competent individuals and such, but we sometimes have failed to provide clarity to developers in terms of what the regulations are and what the expectations are of them. So if we can do that and provide review of permits and such in a timely manner, I think we could go a long way in being more business friendly for development. And I will definitely be an ally for that. And two, I also see my job as selling Southeast Fresno, going out and being active at different conventions and convenings and saying why you should be coming to Southeast Fresno. Why should your business locate in Southeast Fresno? What are the assets that we have?
She's already telling you pretty
to attract
much.
businesses.
So what would you tell them? What's your 15-second elevator pitch to get developers
engaging into the
we have great people.
interest
Great
type of
Jose, what's your incentive plan? How do you get people to build in Southeast Fresno?
Well, one of the things that's missing is that council members have to pay more attention to land use plans. By that, I'm talking about the central Southeast Fresno area specific plan that has been hanging there for the last 5 years. Investors want to have a clear picture of what to expect, a blueprint for growth and development. We do not have plans. The plans get done and we spend money, but they don't get approved. And we have another an industrial park in Southeast Fresno also that is still dragging, has not been implemented. And I said the other time that because the council member was running for office, and I repeat it again, I feel that there has to be more attention given to the land use plans that are necessary. Also, I think that when we talk about, since there was a comment about the growth in the outskirts.
Right. So I was going to say, where do you stand on SEDA? Just to clarify, it's a southeast development area, which will greatly expand the city south and eastward by mega amount, at least the proposals right now. So where do you stand on SEDA?
I clearly oppose it, and the reason why I oppose it, maybe because I didn't get a lot of money from developers, so therefore, I mean, that's not necessarily the reason, but the reason is that the other parts of Southeast Fresno are being neglected. We have needs in the other parts of Southeast Fresno, and we already have some infrastructure that could allow us to do infill first. Let's use up the land that is vacant, that is available within the city. And then later we can consider taking up more valuable farmland. That's the part I don't like about that development project. And I think it's important that we clearly identify where's the money coming from for those. For all the infrastructure, the schools, the libraries that are necessary as you create almost like a new city in the outskirts, way out there in the middle of nowhere.
We definitely
and so anyway,
you're against it, so I appreciate it, Claire. And Brandon, I just want to clarify where you are on SEDA
for these projects is coming.
Again, I am for growth, and I believe growth is inevitable. If the city is going to grow its tax revenues, it has to grow also within, but outside of what the city limit is right now. And at the same time, we need to go back to the constituents and ask them how do they want that growth to take place.
On the blockchain.
Again, I am not,
we the people,
against,
the voter,
I'm not for, but I am for the people. And the people should have a say in terms of who's going to be their neighbor, what is going to grow next to them. What about the street beyond where the farmlands are, where the vacant lots are? You go to certain communities and you talk to them and you listen to them. And that's how it should be a partnership between City Hall and the voters in District 5.
All right, we got one against, we got one neutral. Elizabeth, I guess you can be the tiebreaker. Where are you on SEDA?
And I don't think it's that simple. So here's what I'll say. I think it's been recognized over at least the last decade or so
Let's hear what she
that
says
the city
first.
has grown unsustainably and that we need to do a better job of growing in a more sustainable manner. And what I mean by that is we've stretched our resources. Unsustainable development on the fringe has caused roads to not be able to be properly financed. It's made our response times for emergency service longer, and it's not sustainable to continue to do that. That said, what's I think really crucial as part of this SADA development is to really look at the financing mechanisms, the water supply, and I would really be looking also at the air quality. I have perused the updated EIR to look at some of those things. The financing, though, I would be interested in seeing what they're looking at to address some of the issues that were brought up. So that'll be important.
I want to touch on a couple of things that she was talking about as far as road conditions in Fresno, which we know are
we definitely need growth.
failing.
We definitely
a lot
will
of them
grow
are
at some point.
dilapidated
We need
and
investment, and the way we do it needs to be
outdated.
smart.
They need
and
to
so
be fixed
how we finance
ASAP.
all the infrastructure is
causing
going to be
damage to
important.
vehicles.
And so that'll be what it hinges on, because at some point we're going to grow. It makes sense to plan it out. It makes sense to do it
cannot go bike riding
and to be
on some
thinking about the
streets
future,
because
because this
there
isn't
aren't
going to
any
happen
bike
tomorrow.
lanes at all.
This is a
There
couple
aren't any
decades out.
sidewalks
So
at all.
it makes sense to do it. It makes sense to
my
think about it. It
proposal
makes sense
actually
to
is
earmark
to
it.
have those
It's just making
roads
sure that these
prepaved,
crucial
those
pieces,
potholes
water, air
fixed
quality, financing,
without
are in
spending
place
any
and are accurate and
taxpayers'
are going to
money.
make it sustainable.
Domino's, the
They say they're
pizza
going to be at least
company,
$20 million in the
actually
hole. That's
has
what
a
it's looking like
program
right
where they
now.
will pave
So I
your
wanna
roads,
know,
they will fix
what
your
would you
potholes
cut?
to put down
And Brandon, I'll start with
Domino's
you.
logos just to get
That's a lot of
free
money.
advertising.
What's
This
on the
would
chopping
be a
block
way
for
for
you?
us to have
Yes, it is projected
better
that
road
there will be
conditions
a
in our
$20 million
city without,
deficit in the
again,
city's
having to
budget. The
spend
city
any
has an
tax
operation
dollars
of
to do
nearly
so.
$2 billion.
I proposed this
What I would
before in
not
the
do
past.
is I will not
It's a
touch
shame it
public
hasn't
safety.
been
If anything, we should enhance public safety. That's
Is there a
police and
limit
fire.
to then? Public safety is always
put into place
police and fire
at
about half
all.
the budget,
Let's see what
at least half the general fund. Is there ever a limit for you, percentage-wise?
No, that should be an open-ended
sure it's
question.
implemented.
But what I would also do is, the hiring freeze. We should stop hiring right now and put a freeze to hiring. And not only that, the jobs of the employees who are retiring. Is it necessary to fill those positions right now? If not, then we should, not refill those positions once retirees are retired. And if we can save a few $1,000, a few $1 million here and there, that's what we would do. Yes, $20 million is a lot of money, but at the same time, the services of the city that we provide to the citizens should be sustainable. It should be status quo. It should be the same. And if we can find, perhaps other departments, public utilities, even city council, even the mayor's office, then we need to make a reduction in that as well.
Right. You're a trustee for the Sanger Unified School Board. You deal with budgets. Have you had to cut budgets for Sanger Unified? And if so, give me some examples of what you decided to cut.
The answer is no, I have not for my 9-year tenures. And looking for our next fiscal budget, we are not at risk of laying off any employees or having to cut off any programs. So Sanger Unified
a few things, people. I know you.
When it comes to
the majority
policy,
of you may not
we have
know
been conservative.
the people
but at
on
the
the
same
screen
time,
who
we
you're
are
looking
able to
at.
meet the programs and the needs of
He's
the students and the
a
parents of our school
Sanger
district.
Unified
$20 million.
School Board of
How do you
Trustees
solve that?
member.
So I'll go back to my experience when I worked at City Hall. I remember distinctly I was one of those positions that was hired and subsequently had to leave City Hall because of the economic downturn. So I know personally how city finances can uproot lives and affect individuals. There were many colleagues that lost their homes and lost their livelihoods as part of that. So city and budgeting and fiscal prudence are really important to me on a very personal level.
City council member. There was an
we're
issue,
not at the position yet of
nationwide
preventing some of this,
issue
but
where
I think first and foremost, of
there
course, we
were
look at
lights that
attrition
were
in
demanded
non-frontline
in a
positions.
certain area of town, and
then
because of his
I
failure
really
to
believe
have
in
them
asking our
be,
bargaining units first.
be
We have
created,
a good portion
someone
of our
was
contracts that are opening up
and
this year.
killed.
And I think we need to involve our employees in the process. They are experts. They know
actually do their
where,
duty
how the programs operate, how programs could operate more efficiently, and how we could implement cost-saving measures. And I think that's the best way in order to keep programs operating in a way that our constituents aren't feeling a reduction in services, while at the same time being able to save money.
A suffering
unified trustee,
economy.
a budget that's almost the size of Fresno.
That's
it's not
definitely
bigger.
what's happening.
Have you had to
because
deal with
these
budget
people are
cuts
wasting
there?
all of our money. We don't know where it's going.
So I do have the perspective of dealing with a budget almost the same size as the city of Fresno. And thankfully, we've been able to have a healthy reserve. We have seen with the economy being less than it has been in the past. We've been in an expansion mode for the last 8 years, and this year being the first year that it's been contracting. So long story short, we have not had to lay off people because we've been fiscally prudent. We still have a high credit rating. We still have prudent reserves, and we have been able to maintain our workforce because we've been able to be fiscally prudent and continue to provide a high level of programming for our students.
Jose, $20 million budget shortfall. If elected, you're going to be jumping right into the budget process. So what's in the chop block?
When I worked for Fresno County, I worked for the Fresno County Administrative Office right below the Board of Supervisors. And we had to explore all kinds of possibilities to cut back. And one of the things that obviously was a priority, and I would still do it, is essential services like public safety and fire.
See, all of these people are already doing a public check
to touch. Those would be my highest priority. The areas where I would explore cutting would be support services. By that I mean it might be the attorneys, purchasing, some of the administrative functions that are not necessarily in the business of delivering services to the public. That would be the way.
We're talking about
the other way that we did it at the county was through a hiring freeze. And
Fresno has
through attrition,
influx
and we always at the county try to avoid laying people
city
off
employees
if we can do it.
Getting paid
but sometimes
way
there
too
may be
much money.
And
I'm pretty sure these city employees
sometimes
aren't going to do anything
if that becomes necessary.
Argue against that because they're already getting that.
Obviously,
if they get elected to city council, they most likely will be those members.
As a council member, I would submit an item on the agenda and
salary increase for themselves, which our city council has also done.
We had a very drastic increase recently that I think if we are asking employees to sacrifice, we should also sacrifice. Just because the council happens to be at the top as policymakers, it doesn't mean that we should not also suffer the consequences of reducing the funding.
That's an interesting idea. All right, 15-second response. Do you support cutting council member salary?
Absolutely.
Brandon?
I do. What I can promise is that, if this $20 million shortfall goes through, the increase in the scheduled steps of the city council members should be freezed.
And Elizabeth?
If employees are furloughed, I will furlough myself as well.
All right. And another 15-second response. Elizabeth, would you support putting any tax measure on the ballot to help with the shortfall?
To help with the shortfall, specifically, no. I have voiced my support and will continue to voice my support for a public safety tax that's been floating around. However, I know it's 15 seconds, but I would have very strict strings attached to that.
I will be voting against every tax.
No, until we do evaluations of how we're delivering services, management audits, to identify inefficient components of city government that need to be removed.
And
the people is already overtaxed, and the answer to that is no. I believe the city can find other areas where we can meet that $20 million shortfall.
Right. Next topic, Fresno. Should it change its project labor agreement policy? Now, project labor agreements, a contract between the city and the labor unions to work on certain projects. Right now, the threshold is $1 million. So any public works project that's over $1 million. They go to the unions, they hire union labor. The benefits they say is it gets these projects done on time and on budget. There are a lot of detractors who say that's an unfair process. It actually raises the cost for these projects. So Elizabeth, what do you think about these project labor agreements? Are you comfortable with that $1 million threshold? Should things change?
So I do believe in project labor agreements. I believe they help with workforce development and with local hire, and I believe they're important for our community. And regarding the threshold, I
used to work in construction, speak with construction guys, and I know tons of construction guys.
To the delivery of projects. I haven't heard of any, but
because they're only available to
right,
labor
local hire is the
unions,
goal, but the latest reports are cities not meeting these local hire goals with the PLAs.
Don't have
How do you
an
ensure that they do?
opportunity to continue.
You have to hold them accountable, like with anything.
Have gainful employment.
And of the three candidates,
Seasons,
you have raised
dry
the most money
seasons
from
during the
unions.
year, and a lot
So
of
how,
those
what do you
jobs
tell
are
your
given to
supporters?
labor,
What do you tell the constituents that you may have
union
that
employees.
these
So
donations, these
there definitely
contributions
should
will
not
not
be a
affect your decision making when it
relationship
comes to these issues?
I've raised the most money from the most diverse sources of all, and
Yeah,
I think
so
that
of course
just
she's
shows
gonna be
the broad support
pro-union.
that my campaign has. You'll see a broad coalition of diverse ideologies that have supported me, from the Chamber of Commerce to union organizations. So I think that just speaks to the strength of the people that support me and to the strength of my campaign.
So the union contributions and the support you've gotten will not influence your
I
decision making?
support free labor.
It has not yet.
Why?
Jose, PLAs, what do you say on
That's
them?
one of the disadvantages of collecting too much money from special interests. And I really feel that in the case of the project labor agreements, I support them, but the one concern I have is that we hire local people. One of the problems we've had in public works projects is that a lot of the labor was coming from LA and San Francisco. No, we need to hire local people for the implementation of those projects.
He's right about that.
And I think obviously if the unions are not doing what has to be done, then we have to look at other alternatives. But in general, I would support project labor agreements.
Brandon, PLAs.
Yes, the project labor agreements. David, I have a history of being independent.
How is
I have
this
a
going to be
history of
supervised
having
and reviewed?
perhaps,
How will we,
the most in
be able
terms
to
of
hold
diverse
them accountable
contribution to
for
my
everything that they're
campaign.
saying?
Now, if you look at who contributes to my campaign, it is the average person. It is the average person who are just like the average citizens, the average voters in District 5. And I can be independent when it comes to City Hall. I can look at the labor project agreement and assess it and see it is in the best interest of District 5 voters. And again, you look at how am I going to be independent on the dais? How am I going to look at a particular issue? In this case, the project labor agreement. Yes, we need to have project labor agreement, but at the same time, the council member has to be independent and has to, again, go back to the constituents and see if this is in the best interest of the people in District 5.
Elizabeth, I just want to give you a chance to respond. They say they're independent because they're not getting the same type of contribution support you do. Defend yourself.
Right.
I didn't see that as an attack.
Okay.
And with all due respect, I think that the people contribute to my campaign because I'm an outstanding elected official. I think I've proven over the last 8 years being on the board that I've made the decisions on behalf of the residents that are on the best interest of the residents, as proven by the fact that I just recently got elected by 67% of the vote. And
she's right. She did just get reelected back in November, and she's already abandoning ship
and I think that if
jumping
I were to win city
into
council,
a new
I think it'll be because they trust
position,
that I'll
a new
be
role.
their representative.
You do have a record as a trustee.
Fresno Unified School District gotten any better in the 8 years that she's been on the board? No,
Why is this
I'm pretty
process
sure it
taking so long?
hasn't,
It's been over a
especially
year.
with our
So I was hoping that this would be talking about District 5 issues and City Council issues, but I'm happy to talk about Fresno Unified issues if you'd like to speak about that.
People are interested.
Absolutely. So without getting too much into HR issues, there was a disagreement on the search process, and thankfully we were able to bring on a coach involved, and we unfortunately did miss the typical hiring window for a superintendent. You don't normally hire during the middle of a school year. I am grateful that we were able to take this extra time, get our goals and guardrails and all the work that we've done as a board, setting up the Fresno Unified School District to be on a really good trajectory. I'm happy where we're at. We're establishing really ambitious goals for the future and really working towards those as a board. So we've had a really robust community listening process, making sure that all the criteria that the community wants is reflected in our search for the superintendent, and that's been brought forth in this RFP and now award of a contract. So I think it's been proven beneficial that we've taken this extra time.
Such as her, is they're just going to give you a whole bunch of runaround and talk when it comes to providing solutions that we're demanding right now. I mean, we're paying for it, and it's been 8 years since she's been on the board, but yet nothing has gotten better with regards to Fresno Unified. So what is she going to do to make Fresno better if she were to join City Council? I don't think much at all.
Fresno City Council District 5.
But she'd be happy to collect that new paycheck.
With my opponent.
Right, okay. Now we'll keep with another school district related question. And Brandon, you are a trustee as well. The academic performance for both Fresno Unified and Sanger Unified, are you satisfied? I just want to go over some quick numbers. In Fresno Unified, 65% are not meeting the standards for English, 75% are not meeting math standards. In Sanger Unified, those figures are 51% not meeting English and 62% not meeting math standards. What do you think about all this?
Well, David, there is one statistics that I'm proud to say.
So both of them work
graduation
for
rate at Sanger Unified.
District.
I represent the sunny side of Sanger Unified, which is the Kings Canyon,
the people
Palo
on
area.
City Council.
And our graduation rate last year was 95.9. And Clovis Unified is also 95.9. Fresno Unified's graduation rate last year was 86%. That's a huge disparity between these three school districts that encompass District 5, Clovis, Fresno, and Sanger Unified. And so that is one number that has consistently been better for Sanger Unified than Fresno Unified over the last decade. And I've been on the board for the last 8 years. My kids, I have 4 adult kids who graduated from Sanger Unified, who graduated from Sanger West, which is in the city of Fresno. And I know the direct impact
of 1%
difference in terms of graduation rate per school district, per student. Door. And so I'm proud of what we've done at Sanger Unified, but at the same time, a number of 96, we can do better, and that will continue to do better.
We need somebody new.
Elizabeth, what do you think of the numbers? You know, English standards, math standards.
Somebody does not affiliate.
Fresno Unified has this reputation. What do you say about
whatsoever?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely
any of these individuals
can do better.
Or
and I'm proud of the work that we've done. And part of the work that we're continuing to do is to work towards better achievement.
On City Council, working
but it's not just about graduation rates. It's making sure that our kids graduate and are college and career ready. So it's just more than just graduate them. It's making sure that they're graduating ready for the workforce. And so our 4 goals are encompassing not just academics,
their constituents,
reading, math, and the like. It's also making sure that they have some of the soft skills that our employers are looking for, because we're looking at the whole child and making sure that they're ready to be contributing citizens of our community. And so all of those are important, and those were things that our community wanted. So I think we're gearing up Fresno Unified for success. I'm proud of the work that I've done and all the investment that we've done in Fresno Unified, building a couple of new schools, bringing new programs, investing in after-school programs and dual immersion programs that have really brought the quality of life for our kids and our families, have improved them, new health centers, new partnerships for safe routes to school. So there's a lot of work that we've done in Fresno Unified that I'm very proud of. And I think that now Fresno Unified is on a great trajectory to improve those academic numbers.
So you think all that's things that you mentioned will help improve those numbers?
Absolutely.
Making
Jose,
Fresno Unified.
You're not a part of a school district directly, but briefly, what do you think about
But education is a very important component in promoting economic prosperity. Let me tell you something I don't like about the performance of the Fresno Unified School District. Roosevelt High, District 2, the area this young lady represents, in the math area, only 10% of all the students meet the state standards. That's terrible. How are we going to address poverty? How are we going to promote or improve the workforce of our area? How
That's actually a good question.
Employers to come to the area.
Let me answer that. I actually would like to invest in state-of-the-art educational.
I think that, I don't know if that information was available to the public
when
she ran for office, but that would have been a significant factor, in my opinion.
In higher learning will be able to go into these state-of-the-art facilities where there will be computers.
But I think that there should be an explanation as to what's such a
different
terrible
ways
performance.
to engage
It impacts
with
District
professors.
And brief question for
you
Elizabeth
can
and
possibly
Brandon.
have a cup of coffee
Did the
all
districts
while
get it
doing
right
that and meeting
by
with
shutting down the
friends and
schools during the
other
pandemic?
like minds
Brandon?
to trade ideas.
Well, the directive
We don't
came
have
from the
anything
governor.
like that in
The
Fresno.
governor directed school
But we
districts.
should.
Did you agree with it? Did you
How
fight
many
back
other
at all if you disagreed?
community centers
I
do
do.
we have
I
in
agree
District
with the
5?
school being shut down
Imagine
because my
if we
family
started
has been
having these
impacted directly
educational
by
centers.
COVID.
And then you'd have
it was a
kids going
serious
there
health
after
issue
school,
for everybody, not just for
and being
some,
able
but for everybody.
to join
And
tutoring
yes,
programs.
there
or
were some concerns
learn
as
a
into the
trade,
impact of COVID,
possibly.
but looking
I
back
mean,
at
we
it,
have a big
the decision, I
agricultural
believe, was correct. And
community
if
here in
the school
Fresno,
district,
but
in my school district,
they're
had we not shut down,
they're not
the
really
consequence would
engaging
be
with our
disaster
young
in terms
people
of
for them
finance
to
from
learn how to do
Sacramento.
farming, which
Elizabeth,
is
did you
essential.
guys get it right
We
during the
do
pandemic?
need to know how to grow
in
food.
retrospect,
We can't be
obviously hindsight is
dependent on
always
the grocery
2020.
stores forever.
There's
And
coulda, woulda, shoulda
pandemic
all
taught
the
us
time.
that.
But I think
The
if we saved
inflation
one
on our
person's life
economy
by shutting down,
definitely
it was
should
worth
teach
it.
us that.
Now, are we still
We, the
dealing
people,
with the
should be growing
ramifications?
food.
Absolutely.
So as a
Social,
community,
emotional,
we should be
behavior,
coming together and
academics,
doing that. I
all of
also
that
think that we could
continue
invest into
to be
community
an issue
gardens
and stemming from the
around
pandemic.
Fresno.
However, when we're dealing
There's
with
a lot
that, when
of
we're
empty
weighing in the balance that
parking
we were
lots.
talking about people's
They're
lives,
just desolate,
I think we did the
just
right thing.
dust fields.
Right. Now,
We
there's going to be
can
several
revamp
social
those into
policies
community
that you'll have to
gardens
deal with as a city
and
council member.
fruits and
Jose, I'll
vegetables
start with
readily
you.
available
If the Trump
for free
administration
to
said it's going to
anyone
withhold federal funds to
living
the
in the
city
neighborhood.
unless the city complied with its immigration policy, would you?
I mean, that's a pretty broad question. I mean, I don't know the specifics.
Well, you know how Trump likes to play hardball. So he said, comply with my policies, immigration policy, or else you don't get any federal money. What do you do?
I would just examine it carefully, but very cautiously. I would.
If y'all want to hear what these
would not
candidates are
be,
saying, you're welcome to watch the debate at another time. But you're here to
necessarily
hear what
go along
I
with
have
him
to
without
say.
knowing the implications.
So I appreciate
whether the
all of
matter
you
is
for
legal,
tuning in.
because
Of course, we're
sometimes
going to, jump in every now and
things
then
that
to
are
hear their
suggested are
answers.
not
But
always legal.
I believe
So
he's
I would need to
asking
know
them
more about
about
Brandon,
the immigration
Donald Trump says,
policies
do it
and
my
how
way
it
or
would
you're
be
not get, Fresno doesn't get
implemented in
federal
Fresno
funds.
or
What do you
enforced.
do?
Hello,
And
David.
my answer to that would be
I am an
that
immigrant. I wasn't born in
as
this
far
country.
as
I came here as
deportation
a refugee
of
from Guatemala, Laos,
any
and understand
criminal,
immigration near and dear
um,
to my heart.
any person
Now,
that's
this is a
here
hypothetical question that may
doing
or may not
violent
come to fruition.
crimes
And again,
that's from another country,
beyond that,
they
it is also a
should
legal
definitely be
question in
deported.
terms of the parameter that is
I think
involved.
our local
And
law
so,
officials
to
are
answer
more
a
than
question that is
capable of
hypothetical,
that.
but
I
at the
don't
same
think we
time,
need
it
to
is
be
impact the
adding
citizens
any
and the
more
voters in District 5 quite a bit. And for example,
officers
there
to
was
that
a
effort
teacher
unless
who
it's being
questioned
asked for.
the immigrant
We
status of
do have other
Roosevelt students.
law
And
enforcement
what have we done about
agencies
it?
like the Sheriff's
Again, these
Department
are
that would
real
be
life
willing to
ramifications
aid
that we
with
are
the
talking
police
about. It's not
department
in
and
terms of what
making
Trump is
sure
going to
that
do,
there are less
but what is
violent
happening right
criminals
now in
in
District 5,
Fresno,
and we
whether
have
they
to
be
deal
from
with that
another
right now.
country or they be from this one.
Elizabeth,
That's
what do you
what
do
we
if
should
Donald
be
Trump comes
focusing
knocking and
on
say,
first and
do it
foremost.
my way, or I'm yanking millions of dollars from the city?
We have state law. I think that would be our answer. So we have to comply with state law. California is a sanctuary state, and so we have to comply with the state law. Immigration is personal for me as well. We are a nation built on immigrants. I believe immigrants are the backbone of our society and have personal connections with immigrants. And so
And
I
it's
think,
a shame that there aren't as many
yeah, I value our immigrants
leaders,
and
supposed
stand
leaders
with
of
our
the
immigrants.
Black
And I also
community
think that we
stepping up
have
to say
state
this.
law.
But
Well, if you don't
when it
mind,
comes to
what are
seniority
your
on
personal
who
connections? Sure.
should be
So
able to
both my
live
mom and
in
my dad
America and who
were
should not be
immigrants,
able to
and I
live
have
in
family as
America,
well. My dad has since
the
passed
person
away,
that should
but
be
my mom
making
has
that
now
call
become a
should be
U.S.
the
citizen,
indigenous people
and
of
I
the
have family that's here
country.
as well.
Now, I did a little studying.
Unfortunately, they're
Your
being
mom is originally
silenced,
from Mexico. Your dad's
being
originally from Canada,
ignored.
Correct.
and you were
They're,
born in San
they're
Bernardino,
being
right?
Correct.
So there you go,
completely
the
pushed
North American
aside
story.
Yep.
as
NAFTA.
far as what it
Jose,
is that they
what do you think
want.
of this?
They always have. We always have.
Or
Because
we asked you this.
me
Right?
being a descendant of
Forgive me, Brandon. You
those
had some to add?
indigenous people of this country,
Yes, I
I
mean,
definitely
we
feel
look at
like
District 5,
I have
and
more
District 5
authority when
represents the city
when
of
it comes
Fresno
to
in
say
terms of the
who
melting
can
pot,
be
in
here
terms
and
of
who
its
should not be
diversity.
here.
But at the same time,
And
who on this
no
ballot
one
is
is
best to
illegal on
represent District
stolen
5? And
land,
if you look at a
especially
totality
when the
of circumstances,
people that
I believe I'm the best
occupy
candidate
that
to do
land
that.
don't
I
even look like
understand
people
the
of
moment in
that
time.
land.
And not only
It's
that, I
happened time and
understand
time
what the
again
needs of
all
the
over the
community is.
country.
And at the
I
same
mean, all
time,
over the
we have
world.
to look at
And it's
the
no
people,
different than what's
the
going on in
voters
our
in District
country.
5, and going to
So
them and talk
America
to them,
should be
see what
that
they
beacon
want.
of
Yes, it's
freedom and
great
liberty
to
and
have
peace
questionnaires. It's great
when
to
it
say,
comes
send me what you
to
think. But
unity.
have we
We
gone up to
have that in
individuals
our
and go
country's
out there
name,
and talk to the
United
voters?
States of
What
America.
is the
We should be
concerning issue to you
more
right now at this moment?
exemplary of
And Jose, just to be fair,
unification.
you're
And
born
Fresno
and
can
raised
do
in
that.
Mexico.
We
You
can be
came
the
to
leaders
the
of
Fresno area in your
unity
teens.
because there's lots of
Now,
diversity
this may
here
kind of
in the
relate back
city
to the
that we
budget
should be
question,
taking
but
advantage
what should
of.
the city do, if anything, when it comes to spending taxpayer dollars to help the immigrant community?
I think that we need to take a very humane approach in helping individuals that live in our community. They're members of our neighborhoods, our community, and we should do. And they're contributing taxes every day, every time they go to the store, every time, and obviously they also pay income tax. The different ways in which they participate, and I may make the
And I've talked to
observation
tons of
that
people that have
our
concerns
economy,
about
being a very strong
immigration. And
agriculture
their biggest
economy in
gripe
the
tends
Central
to
Valley,
be the
depends
handouts, the public
tremendously
handouts,
on the
them being able
labor
to
of
receive
Mexican
public
workers. And
benefits when
therefore,
they
I
themselves
think that
aren't
we should
able to
be as
qualify
humane
to
as we
receive
can.
assistance.
And
So
as
my
we as
proposal
Americans
is
have
just to
always
cut it
been, we
completely.
always help
Let's
other
cut
folks.
public
And
benefits
I feel that
altogether.
we should
That way they're
continue
not
to
available to
assist
anyone. If they are going to be made
folks
available
that
to you, then
need
they should be
assistance
made
in
available
this
on
time of
a
emergency.
Elizabeth,
on
what
a
should the city,
specific
what kind of
shortened
services for
time.
the immigrant community? I know
So
there's
if
been some
you have a
problem with
child
the
and you
immigration
need to receive
issues. Should
welfare
taxpayer
or
money be funding that
public
from a municipal pot?
benefits to assist
I
you,
think we should
then
continue.
make it
So the
available
way I
for
see it
2
is the
years
services that we
instead of
provide in the city
18
of
years.
Fresno
The entire,
should be
you
irrespective
know,
of. We're not asking immigration
life of the
status,
child up
and we should
into
provide it
adulthood.
equitably across the city. So whether
Helping
it's for
those
our
in need needs
immigrant
to expand
community or not,
to
if you're
also
setting up a business,
enabling
you should be
someone
treated the same
to
way
be
as
more
if
independent,
you're
not be dependent
an
on
immigrant or
the
not an
system.
immigrant.
And
So I think
unfortunately,
making
our
sure that our
public
systems are set up
um,
and our
benefit
access
system
is equal to
has
everyone.
been structured
That's
to where
if
a
you
lot
can
of
level the
people
playing field
have
and make
leaned
it
on it
easy
when
for
they are
people to start up a
completely
business, no matter if you're an
able
immigrant
to
or
go
not.
out and find gainful
That's just the
employment
best way.
and work
And
for
Brandon, should
a
the city be
living.
spending the
They're
taxpayer
just
dollars
choosing
to
not to because
any
it's
specific immigrant
easier
programs?
to receive
This
public
is a
benefits,
country of
especially
compassion
when
from day
the
one
only
since
qualifying factor is
1776.
that you need to have a
Everyone
child.
who
That
has
needs to
entered
change.
this United States of America from day one until today are or were immigrants or is an immigrant, and I am one example of that. And so city services should be provided to its citizens and its people regardless of their immigration status. You know, equity, of services should be provided without asking people, what is your immigration status? Are you a green card holder? Are you a United States citizen? And so the city should treat its citizens.
And every
should treat
resident
its
of Fresno
people equally
pays
across the board.
taxes.
All right, now,
It doesn't
a
matter.
little bit
You
of
don't
lightning
have to
round
be a
here.
citizen to pay
Try to keep it
tax.
brief, yes
Whenever
or
you
no.
go to the store,
When it
you
comes to
pay a
state
sales
spending
tax.
for
Whenever you own
taxpayer dollars,
property, any type
taxpayer
of
that the
property,
city
you're going
programs
to
have
pay
done in the past.
property tax.
Brandon, should the city be engaging in any
There's
type
tons
of
of taxes
program
that
for helping
people are
with their
paying,
eviction
whether
status?
they're from
Yes.
this country or not.
Should
So we should
Fresno engage
stop
in any type of rent control?
discriminating against people
Given the
from
economy right
another
now,
country
people are
simply
forced to live
because
on the street because they cannot
the
afford
argument
Yes.
being
And
created
we've
by the
heard of a
media
guaranteed
is that
income
they're
program.
not
The city
paying
hasn't
their
really done
fair
anything
share.
like that. Is
Trust
that
me,
something
they
you
are.
support in the future?
just as
I
much
have
as
to read
you
more
are.
into that guaranteed program before I can give a concrete answer.
All right, Jose, eviction protection program. It's a program in the city, about $2 million in the budget. Do you support that?
Yes.
And rent control?
No.
I happen to be a landlord, and my partner is listening. I said yes.
All right, and a guaranteed program or income program in the future. Is that something the city should explore?
I'd like to know more about it.
All right, Elizabeth, same to you. We'll start with the eviction protection program. Keep it?
If it prevents homelessness.
All right, and rent control?
No,
And guaranteed income program?
not with taxpayer dollars.
All right. Listen, character matters. It always comes up in campaigns. We heard a little bit about all your stories.
Oh, that's she said what I.
Elizabeth, you've been criticized for running for this seat just a couple months after you won re-election to the Fresno Unified School Board. What do you say to those criticisms?
The opportunity presented itself. I think the voters of the district have the opportunity to make the choice, and I hope they choose me.
Now, Brandon, you're kind of in the same boat. I mean, you just won re-election too.
Yeah.
And now you're running for Fresno City Council.
Well, David, I was elected in 2016 initially. I did not have a challenger in 2020, or neither do I have a challenger in 2024. And so it is a testament to my work on the board for the last 8 elections.
That is not
the people
true.
in my district has said, okay, we
nationwide go
know what you have done, and no one has run against me
career
for the last 2 elections.
And they don't think
that is a
anyone else
testament
is
to my work on the board. And I'm a
they don't
father.
even give
I'm a
that
stay-home
person
father. I'm a volleyball dad. I take my kids to practices, school, club, volleyball, etc. And I was able to devote full time to being a trustee and at the same time being dad to my 4 boys. And so, yes, character do counts. What people have done, what you have done the last 8 years, what you've done the last 10 years. My wife and I raised 3 boys in the last 13 years, and I was a stay-home dad. But not only am I a stay-home dad, but I have the opportunity to pay attention and to do the job that the people voted me in 2016 full time. And I have that opportunity to go out there and to assess and to talk to the students, to talk to the parents, to talk to the staff, the teachers, the principals, to see what is needed. And I would continue to do that if I'm lucky enough to be voted and go to City Hall. I would devote 100% of my time to learning the job and to talk to the constituents and listen to them to see what their needs are.
Well, that's
Jose,
also
this
because
election
he's
loan is
in a
costing the
certain
city
income bracket where
$200,000
it gives
because Louis Schaub is the private occupant. He won
affords
election
him the comfortability of being able to do so.
Now, if
There's
Ms.
lots
Johnson Roses
of
wins, that's
working
going to create
class
another
families
vacancy
where
for Fresno Unified. And
both
estimates I got, if they choose
partners
to
are
hold a
working
special election,
and
is
they're still
$150,000.
doing their best to
Who
make
should be
ends
responsible for paying for these
they
special
don't
elections?
have an opportunity to commit to just being a full-time parent because they're unable to. They're too busy trying to pay the bills.
I think
so. When you have
the funding of elections should be
jobs
done
or
the way
incomes
the
coming
elections are
into the
normally
household,
handled. Really,
one of you can definitely be a
no reason
stay-at-home
why
parent,
to
especially when your job is a part-time job. You're pretty much just
a certain
school board trustee. You're participating in meetings that happen.
Americans should have the opportunity to run for
parent-teacher
office.
conferences.
Elizabeth,
Parents have to take time out of their schedule.
You create a vacancy.
But he's being paid to go to
including
those
on top
things.
of what's going on right now.
Yeah, it's going to be
think
easier.
the respective agencies should be paying for it.
It's how democracy works. I think the voters will have an opportunity to choose who they want to represent them, and they should be able to choose.
Elizabeth, I want to ask you a question we got from Facebook, from one of our Facebook watchers. You said earlier that your work at Fresno Unified
people
isn't done.
of Fresno should definitely be able to choose.
Why are you
and
leaving?
it's sad because I wasn't
the superintendent search part
I'm not
isn't
being
done.
presented
That should be
to the people
concluded
of
in
Fresno
April,
as a choice,
which would line up
as
the timeline.
equally as these
All right.
other candidates.
Now, I guess this applies more to Jose and Elizabeth.
The claim
Jose,
was that I didn't qualify.
if elected, do you plan to keep your job with the Southeast Fresno Development Association?
For the debate, but I qualified.
Right, and Elizabeth, do you
for the
plan to
date
keep
for the
your job at
election.
Westlands?
Which
I
should
have
be
not
good
had
enough.
that conversation with Westlands.
We'll see in the future.
It is a little bit of a non
included
sequitur,
into
but
any more
Westlands in the news today.
debates that
Is
they
Kevin
may
McCarthy going to be
have
working for you guys?
for Fresno City
We
Council
had
District 5.
preliminary
Supposedly
conversations.
There's going to be
with,
one
the speaker.
being
Very
hosted by the
preliminary.
Fresno
Okay.
BSIP. So
Go
if
ahead.
indeed that
The question
happens,
pertains to me
hopefully
too.
I'll get
Being
an
a stay-home
opportunity
dad,
to be
it is a
I'm
full-time
sorry,
job.
you're right.
It is a
By
full-time
these other
job. If you
candidates
try it for the last 10
be able
years,
to hold
I mean, I
out,
raised 3 boys.
sitting
And
next to
imagine
them
if you raise a boy and a
instead
boy
of
and a boy for the
speaking
last
to
10
you
years.
here.
Imagine that. I mean, I'm lucky enough
But
and I'm
I do
blessed to be
appreciate
able to
you all
raise,
taking the
a
time
newborn
to
and who's
watch
now
the debate
13.
with me, to
And those 3
hear
boys
what I've
are my greatest
had to
treasure,
say
in
in
addition to the other
response
2
to
kids that I
what
have,
these
in
guys
addition
are
to my
saying,
wife.
and
And so it is a
hopefully some
full-time
of
job.
the ideas
And
that
so
I
if I'm lucky
proposed
enough to go to City Hall, and obviously the
during this
time
whole
that I would
thing
have to
will be
use
well
to devote
accepted
to the
by
job
the
at City
people of
Hall would
Fresno.
take that away from my kids.
But
And
it
so,
starts
yes,
first
I would
with
have
you,
to,
all
in a
of you
sense, not
people out there
resign,
watching,
but
for you
to
to spread the
remove some
word,
of the hours that I
because
devote to
the
being a public
media is
servant
going
away from
to
my 3
play
boys.
into
How would you
the people
characterize
that have the
the
most
character of
money,
your
the people
2
that have
opponents
the
here?
most influence,
Well, you asked the question
people
earlier,
that they think
character
have the
counts,
best
and you look
opportunity.
deeply
When
into
really it's any
people's
man's game.
history.
I can win
Not what they
just as
say,
much as
but
these
what they have
guys
done. And then you
have an
interpret what
opportunity
they
to
have done.
win. And
And
that's
people make
because
promises that I'm going
the
to be
people
here for
are
the next
going
4
to
years,
choose
but
who
even before people are
takes
swearing
that
in,
seat on city
they
council.
declare to do
And
something else
they
different.
choose,
What's going to hold them
like
to
all
the
of these
same
people are
standard
saying,
the
they
next go
choose
round, or
to
the
vote
next year, or the next 4 years?
Wildstar,
You look at
you'll
people's
have me
character,
on
you
city
look at what they
council,
have
and I'll
done.
be
And
that
what I've
rebel
done at
rouser
Sango
that's much
Unified
needed
is
to
I
shake things
serve
up
my kids, I
and
serve the
stir
students
things up in the right
full-time.
direction.
I make the
We need to
promise to
get
my
Fresno
constituents in
moving and
2016 when I
transformed to
ran to
become a
represent the
better,
Sunnyside area of
stronger
Sango
city,
Unified, and I
so we
kept the
can
promise to this day.
move
Those are
on up
the
from becoming
characters of
the biggest
Jose
little
and
city
Brandon.
in the
I
country
think the voters will
to
make
be
the
in that
decision.
What do you
big
say?
city
You know, I'm
that
sure you've learned a
it
little bit,
is
but out of them, they're prominent
growing
members
and
of the community.
shaping up to be.
You know,
I mean, we just got to be brave enough to
I'm going to
take
just
that
talk
step
about
forward
myself
in
and my
that direction.
experience.
Okay.
And
Jose,
it's
same
going to
question to you. What do
start
you think
first
about
with
Elizabeth and Brandon?
innovation and
I'll do the
new
same.
thinkers.
Perseverance is
These are
what
the same old.
describes me.
That's what you can
Because
expect.
I
It's just
continue
more
to,
of the
for the
same
last 12
flavor
years, I've been
being
serving Southeast
delivered to we
Fresno.
the people.
I've been doing a lot of
I
the
want
work
I want
that
things to be
city
different
government
in
should
this
be doing
city.
for us.
I've lived here for 5 years.
And
My
I
son
will
was
continue
born
to do
here,
that
and
until
I'm raising him here. I brought him
get
here
elected
to
Fresno
start my
City Council.
family.
Another quick question for
And
you regarding your name.
I'd
We've
like to
seen you as Jose
continue
Barraza. We've seen
to
you as Jose
develop my
Leon
family
Barraza.
here
Just maybe kind
in
of
the city.
clarify,
But
what name you want to go by.
there
You
are
know,
going
what
to
do we
be
call
some
you?
things that
Leon
need
Barraza.
to change in
Elizabeth,
order
same to you,
to
because
make
we've
that
seen it.
environment
You've seen you as Elizabeth
more
Johnson. We've seen you as Elizabeth Johnson Roses.
inviting
On the
and
ballot, you're going to be
hospitable
Elizabeth
to
quote Roses
people like
Johnson.
myself
So explain,
that are
maybe the
looking
origin
for
of your
new
name
places
and what do you
to
want to go
travel
by?
to
Elizabeth
grow
Johnson
and
Rosas,
expand.
it's an archaic
That's what we do
elections
as
law
human
that
beings.
makes
No
Rosas
matter
has
if
to
it's
be in the
Fresno,
middle in
no matter if
parentheses
it's
because it doesn't
California, no
recognize
matter if
2
it's
last names.
Wisconsin. That's where I'm
They
from.
have
I'm a
asked me to go to Social
Wisconsin
Security
transplant.
to change my name,
But
and I
we move
contest that
wherever
I
our
was
hearts
born with 2 last names.
desires.
I
And
haven't
we
started a
should
GoFundMe for the
embrace
legal
that,
fight,
that
but
spirit
maybe soon.
that,
And Brandon,
again, is in all
just
of
a little
us.
about
We
you.
love
Your
traveling.
first name
We
is
love
G.
going new places.
Correct. It is
At least
spelled
a lot of
G-E,
us
but
do.
pronounced
And if
G.
you haven't before, try
And
it.
my legal name
Go
is
outside
G.
of your
Brandon
neighborhood.
Vang.
Go into a
All
different
right.
city.
Well,
Go
we're
into
almost at the end here,
different
so I want to
state.
give you you guys about
Meet
30,
new
45
people.
seconds.
See how
Make
it
your
feels.
elevator pitch.
Don't just
Tell the
stay
voters why you're the best
in your
candidate.
echo
And,
chamber.
Jose, why don't you
That's
start?
the
Why are you the best
problem with
candidate?
what's going on with our
I am the
political
best
world.
candidate because I
is
have
they're
the
creating
most
echo chambers
experience. And we
where
have spoken about
unless you
economic
think like
development,
them,
housing,
unless you speak like them,
I don't think we didn't say very much about housing.
We need to
but
change
housing
that.
is very important too.
America is something beautiful.
And I have
because
a very good education, master's in public administration, and a BS degree in business administration. I'm also a licensed general contractor
and all of the
and a
greatest
licensed general
of those
contractor.
speakers
So I
and
have a
innovators.
lot of experience,
And
and I
people
have
that we
a
want
strong
to make the
commitment
world
to
better.
serve the
Come
residents
here.
of
Let's
District
bring them to
5,
Fresno,
and I
and
hope
we
that
can
I'm
make
given
that
the
happen
opportunity
with
and the
Wildstar
honor
on
to
Fresno
be a
City
council member for
You guys
District
heard
5.
enough of it.
Elizabeth,
It's freezing on my screen anyway. Let me end that. All right. Anyways, back to me. I got to get out of here anyway because I'm going to be doing some phone banking with some volunteers to call the people of Fresno, reach out to them before Election Day, and inspire them to write in Wildstar for Fresno City Council. So you do the same. If you're watching out there, get on board, help me out, and let's change Fresno. Let's get a liberty-minded individual, liberty freedom fighter, a libertarian, since that is what I am and will be once I am elected to Fresno City Council. But I need you people out there to help me spread the word. So please share this video. Tell your friends and family that are living in Fresno, whether they're in District 5 or not, about Wildstar. And hopefully word will get around to those people who do live in my district that I'm the person that's being supported by the people in the community, and they will write me in on Election Day. People are already getting their ballots. That's why I got to get off this this broadcast and jump on the phones and start calling them right now. I've been going door to door already, meeting people face to face. They don't even know who any of these other guys are. And the reason is because they're just popping signs up around town in front of vacant homes, hoping that, that people haphazardly just vote for them because they see their name somewhere. I'm getting in their face. I'm talking to them one-on-one. I'm getting to know them, and they're happily jumping on board to support my campaign. So you do the same. Let's all transform Fresno by voting Wildstar for Fresno City Council District 5. I got to get out of here, you guys. Much love to you. Long live liberty. Peace. District 5 City Council, Fresno.